All right, cool.
So, what's your name?
My name's Adam Webb.
And he's a Goulsby Serpents. When you first started with the breeding, what was that like coming into the hobby?
It was a blessing. You know, it seemed as if, I don't mean to float my own boat and all, but when I first got involved, I bought one snake. I fell absolutely in love, and then I started doing the research on, because when I first started keeping animals like reptiles, I was in high school. I was 17 years old when I had a ball python and a Burmese python and all. Life happened and everything. I had to get rid of those animals because we ended up moving in with my grandparents. Grandparents were like, oh, hell no, you're not bringing in any reptiles into the house. So I had to sell my snakes, and then years later, I got a bonus from work, and I ended up buying a caramel albino, and that's what started all. One male caramel albino, because I never seen any morphs before. Like when I had my first snakes, they were regular, if you will, classic, wild type.
Like the normals?
Yeah, normals. Yeah, that was it. The ball python was the normal, and the Burmese python, she was the normal. There wasn't any morphs that I knew of. That was 92, 93 when I was in high school and all. It was a long time ago. But so years later, I got a bonus from work, and I was talking to my wife and all, and she's, and I was like, man, I want to get a snake. She goes, well, Adam, I have a reptile enclosure at my house. Oh, sweet. So that saved the cost, you know, because that first cost, it can be expensive. So once I started doing the research, fell in love. I found this other snake, fell in love with that one, did research, and I just kept on doing research until I got to the point where I raised up I had 5 snakes, and then I bought a snake rack because the tanks ended up, becoming a little bit more. It took up too much space in the house, so I ended up buying a rack system and all. Then a friend of a friend, heard that I was getting involved in keeping and wanting to breed and all, and I got real lucky. He gave me 3 females. One, she's now. I still have 2 of them. One is 13 years old, and the other is 12 years old. And and then the third one I ended up selling to somebody. And then he gave me, or not gave me, but I bought 6 racks from him, some 6 28-quart racks from him. And he gave them to me at a price I wouldn't have made. I was like, are you serious? So that gentleman, his name was Corey Peterson. He helped me out quite a bit getting in, and then I kept those 3 snakes for quite some time. For the next year, I didn't breed them that year, of course, because he had bred them. I already had the few males, and that's mostly all I had were males. I had some females, but they were not, of course, to age. These other ones that he gave me, they were of age, so I raised them for another year, pumped them up, got them fat, started to introduce them, and luckily enough, I actually produced some snakes, some eggs, and then raised them up, and I stayed really small the first year. I only did 3 females, and the reason being is that I wanted to make sure that I can actually produce stuff. And if I do produce stuff, can I sell it? Do people want my products or my animals and all? And luckily enough, we sold out the first year. So I did the first year breeding, I did 3 clutches. The second year I did 5 clutches. This year, being our 3rd year, we're doing 7 clutches. So each year, open it up a little bit, but still staying
like
small.
Incrementally getting bigger?
Yes, slowly, because like right now, I have ball pythons, reticulated pythons, because I have a reticulated python, a couple projects on that as well. I'm going to start doing those next year.
And when it came to the time it took for you to actually get into breeding itself, how long was that? Like from your first snake, from when you first got interested in breeding.
I bought my first snake, that caramel albino. I bought him on March 5th, 2018. Yeah, I just remember that date because that's the day that I was like, here we go. I got snake bit, if you will, not literally, but snake bit.
Yeah, like you got
these animals, So I bought him March 5th, 2018, and I first produced clutches in 2020 was my first clutch. Because we're in 22, in 2020 was the first clutches that I produced. Because I had those 3 females and all, raised them for another year to plump them up and everything, have them recover from the buddy that gave them to me when he was breeding them. And then that was, 2020 was my first year.
So you say 18 is when you got interested in it, and then 20...
So 2 years later.